Yo, my name is Julian Melnick, and welcome back to the Console Gaming Channel. This is your weekly walkthrough. We're going to go over what happened in video gaming news over the past week and get you all caught up. It's going to contain 4 segments every week, and these are going to be stories in the Xbox category, stories in the Nintendo category, stories in the PlayStation category, and lastly, stories in the gaming community category. Whether we have 1 or 2 or 3 in each one, that's going to depend on how hot the news was, but that's how we're going to go at it, and it's really not going to be in any particular order. But today we're going to start off with the PlayStation category. And in the PlayStation corner, we had a pretty intense week, a pretty rough week actually for PlayStation. A tech YouTuber, Austin Evans, he has a great tech channel. If you're into tech and gaming stuff, he's really informative. I like him a lot. And he got his hands on the new revised hardware version of the PlayStation 5, which at start of the video, he talked about how it was 300 grams lighter, but was not really sure as to why. And he started undoing it and weighing different pieces of it to see where did they cut the weight. And he saw there was a difference in the fan, but the weight of it was similar, not much difference, not 300 grams of difference. He saw that there was a couple extra cables here and there, and he went into detail on that. But the thing that really was the big difference and was the actual 300 gram lighter part of it was the heatsink. In fact, the new PlayStation 5 that's been released, that is now the one that is being shipped and sold and manufactured, has a smaller heatsink, a significantly smaller heatsink. And his deduction based on physics and all the stuff that has to do with tech and heat and all that stuff is that it's going to make the thing run hotter. And indeed it did. He had a thermal camera show the heat of the thing and it ran hotter. Now, as far as the performance is concerned, there was no difference between the two, but at the time of the video, he's like, this thing runs hotter. And if it's not given proper ventilation, it could potentially run into some performance issues down the line. And he voiced his concern of what happens with a lighter heatsink. The video itself was called the PlayStation 5, new PlayStation 5 is worse, along those lines. And all was said and done. After I watched that video, I was like, whoa, this is really informative. In fact, I appreciate that he did this. And based on looking at that, I'm like, that makes sense. I mean, realistically, PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pro were just crazy jet engine loud, and they had heat issues and ventilation problems. So it makes sense that this new PlayStation 5 would have such a crazy huge heatsink. Well, now we're 9-10 months down the line. The thing has had a good amount of time to perform and run. And PlayStation's like, dude, we are hurting. We need to get more of these things out. We got to figure out how to do this. And with everything, all the tech shortages and stuff like that, what can we do? Well, it's, the way that I see it, and this is maybe overly optimistic, they go, well, we over-engineered the heatsink to really cover our bases because, last gen was pretty rough. I think that we could actually shave some of it off. It'll run a little hotter, but we might be able to still maintain performance. Everything's going to be fine. So indeed, that's exactly what they did. I mean, combination of shipping prices and everything. I mean, it helps them in the long run, right? It's a good decision. I mean, Sony is a company that needs to make money. It makes sense. That's, if they can't operate at a loss all the time, or else, they'll go out of business and we won't get that system. So it made sense. I understood that in watching that video. I'm like, okay, yeah. Is it better if I was given the option to get the launch day PS5 or this new PS5? Yeah, I'd go for the one that has the bigger heatsink. But if I wasn't, I wouldn't feel bad about my option. It's just, it is what it is. This is the way it works. It's the way it's done. And for all I know, they might have figured out a way to make it work. Who knows? It just doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal. Well, the internet did not see it that way. In fact, they attacked the heck out of that video. They blew it up, and he had to come out a few days later and go over and basically break down what he said, apologize for misleading people, and go, hey, guys, this is not what I meant, and kind of reiterate everything in a different way. And that sucks. That really sucks. It was a bummer to see. He obviously was super bummed by having to do that as well. I mean, he says it too. He had to release like a 15-minute video about what he actually meant and explain why he named the video the way that he named it and why the thumbnail was the way just like people just hung him out to dry. I think that's what it is. Hung him out to dry. And I was like, dude, this really blows that this guy made this video and he went out to say that he paid for it all. The PlayStation doesn't send him anything. In fact, he gets stuff from Xbox, but PlayStation doesn't send him anything. So he decided to pay for it himself. And also, people are accusing him of being like, paid by Microsoft to do this, not Xbox, but Microsoft. He's like, dude, I don't get paid by Microsoft. Why would I do that? And so he explained himself, and I appreciated the transparency. I didn't need it. I was like, yeah, this guy made an informative video. I wasn't, a part of that negative narrative, but dang, dude, that really, really blows. In fact, that's not the only thing that PlayStation had this week. This week, someone dove deeper. I don't know if it was a developer or just people that understood video games more, but they looked into the Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart game. And when it was first released, they were really praising the PlayStation 5 for its SSD and its super fast capabilities, able to load full worlds at the blink of an eye. And so you could jump through these rifts and basically load a full level. But upon further inspection, realize that when you do jump between the worlds, you get a little bit of non-interactive play. You're watching Ratchet kind of flip through the air, and when that happens, it's basically just a cutscene. And so that cutscene gives the system itself enough time to load the next whatever instance or next level, and then you can play, which would have been able to be achieved on something from last gen. So that was also kind of a bummer, too, that there's some misleading information coming out around the PlayStation 5, and I love that thing, man, and I just want it to get its time. In fact, in the lineup of consoles that I love, Nintendo holds my heart, the Switch, then PlayStation, then Xbox, and I really want it to start to get the support that I've always wanted the PlayStation to get, but it just hasn't gotten it yet, so bummer. All right. Heading over to the Xbox. Xbox, not too much, a little bit of stuff. I mean, we got Halo Infinite. That came out a couple weeks ago, but Halo Infinite Alpha came out. People are pretty excited about that. Said, look at the gameplay. It looks like a lot of fun, and I'm probably going to get into it. And it looks great. And just, I've never played Halo as much as I do now going through the whole series, but that's going to be a fun multiplayer. Along with that, release date, December 2nd, I believe. I believe I'm correct on that. And with that, we also got a new Xbox Series X console skin. Not really a full console, not a revision, but a skin. So the new limited edition, completely already sold out, Xbox Series S Halo Infinite Edition looks pretty sick. They went on and they extended that to the Pro, or not the Pro, but the Elite controllers. The Xbox Series 2 Elite controller, Xbox Elite Series 2 controller, however you want to order that phrase. And there is a new there's a new Halo version, Halo Infinite version of the Series 2 Elite controller. I can't get it right. It's too many words. Shorten the thing up, Xbox. It is way too many. The Xbox Elite Series 2 controller, Halo Infinite Edition. Holy moly, that does not fit in a search term. Okay, so anyway, it looks good. It looks awesome. The D-pad disc is like gold, and there's a bunch of different things on it. It looks good. Are they sold out? Yes. Are you going to get your hands on one? Probably not. It's probably going to be hard. Did they fix the stick drift issue? I don't know. I'm not going to address that because I don't know. Is there a stick drift issue? Apparently. Most of you like to complain about it underneath my Xbox Elite Series 2 controller short. Gotcha. All right, moving on to the Nintendo Switch, where, aside from the fact that there's a bunch of rumors out there that they're going to bring the Game Boy to the Nintendo Switch Online, and that apparently a Nintendo Direct is just around the corner, these are all hearsay and rumors. And I don't really like covering those two things because they're not real and they're not announced. But those two things are kind of circling the rumor mill. One thing that is probably going to happen is the Nintendo Direct, and that's not because it's a rumor, but because most Septembers we get a Nintendo Direct. So it'll be exciting to see. I'm still holding out for that Zelda 35th anniversary announcement. I would love to still get that. I'm still hoping for that Zelda Superstar or whatever, 3D All-Stars or however you want to call it. I would love to get Ocarina of Time. I'd pay full price for that game. I swear I'd pay, just for that game alone, I'd pay full price on the Nintendo Switch. Hey, here's the deal. They don't even have to remaster it. I'd still pay full price. I love Ocarina of Time. In fact, I'm going through the whole series again on my streams, which we're staying right here on YouTube because Twitch has been going through a few growing pains, and it's actually kind of scary to see what's happening on Twitch right now. So though I was pushing for it, I've redacted. I said I'm wrong, and we're sticking here on YouTube where I am going through the whole the whole Zelda series, hopefully before Breath of the Wild 2 comes out, because I think we got enough time. So if you want to see those every Tuesday, Thursday, and most Saturdays, I'm streaming right here on this YouTube channel at 7 p.m. Pacific time, and we go really late because I love Zelda games. Speaking of that streaming stuff, though, Twitch and everything that's going on, here's the community things that are happening. We saw two huge big-name streamers end their contracts with Twitch and actually switch over to YouTube, which, if you're not into the streaming world, this still is pretty huge for the community aspect of things, right? The two being Dr. Lupo and Timmy the Tatman, two streamers I don't watch. The only streamer I actually watch on a somewhat regular basis is Dr. Disrespect, because his whole production is so funny and really high quality. So I'm actually learning from the way he does things production-wise. The games he streams that I'm not really too into. But we see these huge streamers. timthetatman having 7 million followers on Twitch, end his exclusive contract with Twitch, and actually go over to YouTube. He put out a little video saying that he's going over to YouTube. And, Twitch has, again, been going under, they've been under fire for a while, back sometime last year with all of the different copyright things that are happening and looking like they've just been brushing it under the rug and not really doing anything to fix it or support their creators, going as far as this new issue that's happening, which is these hate raids where people come in with bots and completely decimate raids, just spread hate speech and just are awful, and they're really not addressing these issues or doing anything to aggressively attack and stop some of these awful things from happening. And so I can imagine that a lot of these businesses, right, because that's what these people are, these big name streamers, they have businesses around this as their livelihood, go, man, this is a dicey situation. We got to make some decisions here. Though I don't know the exact and extreme details of what happened with the switch over, we are seeing some huge streamers, huge, right? Again, 7 million. He's the 11th biggest streamer on Twitch. Say, I'm done. I'm switching over to YouTube, which is tough. Dr. Disrespect got banned off of Twitch, and the details of that are still somewhat unknown, though he has now publicly say that he is currently pursuing them legally, and he is suing Twitch for what has happened and the damages. He's come out and said that he's lost millions of dollars in that switch, and the difference between growing on YouTube at this, is much more challenging than growing on Twitch. And some of these big guys, he's like, I lost a lot by doing this. And seeing someone like timthetatman ending his huge successful business on Twitch, coming to YouTube, someone like Harris Heller, Alpha Gaming, doing the same thing earlier, a couple months ago, ending his partnership with Twitch and going over to YouTube. Something's happening. And as a gaming channel, and this is dedicated in helping grow the strongest, most positive and mindful gaming community out there, there's something to be said about huge, giant, big companies, or not companies, but businesses like these streamers leaving a platform to go to another. And sure, I guess there's money involved, but I mean, something has to be said. And I want to say that if you're looking for that community, that safe, that healthy, that positive, that mindful community, this is your spot. You can go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you want to be a part of it. That's all you got to do. Hit that bell. You'll always be caught up. We do have memberships and channel memberships. And as of right now, you just get emotes and stuff like that. It's great. It supports me. There's a little bit of that financial thing going on, but you get emotes. You get a special badge next to your name. Exclusive content is yet to come yet. But as of right now, the subscribe will get you right plugged in. So please join us in helping to change the face of gaming in a positive and mindful way. And lastly, if you want to see a story covered, or you want to, have me talk about a specific story, I'm going to be posting these weekly walkthroughs on Fridays, going over what happened the previous week. And on those Fridays, I'm also going to be posting a community post. And on that community post, it's just going to be asking the question, what would you like me to cover in next week's weekly walkthrough? And I'll go and address that weekly walkthrough post on Thursdays when I record these videos, and I'll cover the videos or a few videos from there to go deeper into that, to keep you guys up to date and to cover those stories. So I hope that this found you and helped you get up to date with all the gaming news. Kind of sloppy. We'll get there. We're refining it. Thank you so much for joining us today. And most of all, happy gaming.